Welcome to Spill the Trauma, Keep the Drama. I'm your host, Kayla. As always, I want to remind you guys that I am not a licensed professional. If you are seeking mental health help, you should definitely reach out to a licensed professional. If you need help finding resources, you can hit me up. I'm on Insta, TikTok, and pretty much everywhere at Spill the Trauma, Keep the Drama. Let's spill some trauma. How is it that I've never given birth, but I've parented 3 kids and 2 adults? By 11 years old, I was a full-time mom, therapist, and crisis negotiator, all while technically still a child. This isn't a story about stepping up. This is about how parentification stole my youth, warped my sense of self, and why "but family helps family" is just an excuse abusive parents use to avoid responsibility. I was 11 when my parents split for good, but really, I'd been parenting long before that. Weekend mornings, when other kids slept in or played, I was making breakfast for the whole family. Bacon, eggs, waffles. Where were my parents, you might ask? Still snoring in bed. By 8 or 9, I was already in charge, mediating fights over video games, making sure my brothers got their turns, even when mine didn't matter. I was a kid, but never treated like one. Then came the split. That car ride is burned into my brain. My birth giver told all 4 of us literal children that we had to step up now that money would be tight. I was 11. My younger brothers had no idea what the fuck she was talking about. One of them proceeded to ask her, "So can we go get chicken nuggets now?" She was getting more and more mad with the situation. So I had to jump in and explain to them in terms that they would understand that dad being gone meant no more treats, no more extras, and he didn't ask again. And just like that, I became Mom 2.0. My childhood died that day. After school, it was homework, theirs first, then mine, bottles, diaper changes, soothing a screaming baby to sleep. I joined track in high school, but could only go to practice. No meets because I had to be home by 5 p.m. sharp to pick up the youngest from daycare, bathe him, feed him, put him to bed. But the job never ended. Even nights weren't mine. The youngest had horrific night terrors, screaming, thrashing, terrified, and our lovely birth giver. She had a California king bed. Do you know how stupid big that is? But would lock him out saying that she had health issues. So where'd he go? My room, my full-sized bed. I always let him in. How do you say no to a kid shaking from nightmares? Even though he kicked like a donkey, wrecked my back, but I would 100% do it again. Because here's the truth. I was the only safe place he had. And that's parentification in one image. A child playing mattress to another child because the actual adult couldn't be bothered. Even fun came with a job description. If I went to the park with friends, I was dragging my toddler brother along. Carnival in town, packing all 3 brothers like a stressed out tour guide. Cause what kid wants to go to the carnival and be in charge of 3 other kids? Once my friends watched me gentle parent my 2-year-old brother out of doing something dangerous. This was years before gentle parenting was a trend. They were so amazed. How'd you do that? We need you when we have kids. But no one asked, why does an 11-year-old know how to do this? I wasn't mature for my age. I was robbed of my age. My parents didn't just need a babysitter. They needed a therapist. My birth giver's favorite pastime? Trauma dumping on me. She'd rant about my dad, her exes, her regrets, and everything you're not supposed to talk to your kid about. She'd rant and rave, and it was only okay for her to rant and rave when she wanted to talk about something. There was this one time where we're sitting in the car and she I don't remember what happened to trigger her, but she just started crying. And I'm concerned that she's crying while driving. So I look over and I'm like, are you okay? Do you want to pull over? This woman continues to drive, continues to cry, looks at me. She goes, stop fucking looking at me. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm asking you if you're okay. Anyways, Therapy wasn't just my need, it was a family-wide emergency. The oldest of my 3 younger brothers hated me for being in charge. But really, he hated everything about what was happening. He took it out on all of us, bullying our grandma, terrorizing our younger brothers, and turning me into the family bodyguard. One fight between me and him still lives in my bones. Me and him were screaming and cursing at each other just like our parents. When the middle brother crawled under the table sobbing, "You sound like mom and dad." I remember freezing and feeling awful. That's when I realized we weren't just siblings, we were trauma bonds with legs. And our fabulous birth giver's response? Denial. We don't need therapy. We just need to stick together. Translation: I need you to keep absorbing the damage so I don't have to face it. Meanwhile, I was begging for therapy. Not just for me, for all of us, but she refused. Because if we get help, we might realize that none of this is normal. The irony, she refused real therapy while demanding I absorb her chaos. Meanwhile, I did seek out therapy for myself because I needed to undo the damage she caused. When my grandma got sick, they weaponized my dreams against me. You want to be a nurse, right? Then you take care of her. But when I needed care, when I was sick, grieving, or just human, suddenly I was lying for attention. Need a doctor? You're faking. Running late because I'd been up all night parenting her kids? Figure it out. Maybe getting fired will teach you responsibility. Thank God for my grandpa, the only one who'd drive me to work even if it made him late. And what did my birth giver do? Yell at him for bailing me out. The message was clear. My pain didn't matter. My needs were negotiable. Those wounds aren't visible, but they ran deep. The neglect drove me into helpless rages. Why doesn't she care about me like she does the boys? Why doesn't she care about me at all? I wasn't just the family unpaid labor. I was their emotional landfill, convenient to dump on, invisible when I needed support. When I finally got to college, when school gave me an excuse to breathe, she lost her damn mind. The first time I rebelled, her parents went to India for 2 weeks, and she, in true birth giver fashion, had all these people come over. Then she demanded I rush home to clean her mess. And when I refused, she grounded me. I was supposed to go to a concert with like a bunch of freshman friends and like make all these new friends and stuff. And she was like, "No, you're not going." I saved up for the concert. I was so excited. And it was supposed to be a taste of freedom for me. And the lies, she told everyone that I was some reckless party girl. Yeah, I partied because I was finally allowed to be young. But to her, any autonomy was a threat. Any joy was irresponsible. But the worst part, after all I sacrificed, after surviving her control, she still found a way to punish me by turning my brothers against me. After I went no contact with her, she cut me off from my brothers, the same ones I raised. And I know them. Their tells when they're pissed, their silences when they're hurt, the way they won't make eye contact with me now. She did the exact same shit to our dad when we were kids. But knowing the playbook doesn't make it hurt less. Sometimes my phone pops up memories, me and the youngest laughing, playing basketball, being silly. Now I'm a ghost to them. And if you guys do happen to be listening, I still love you and I still miss you. No matter what, you're still my brothers. Even when I finally broke free, when I moved out and dared to live for myself, the guilt ate me alive. I'd lie awake thinking, did the youngest eat dinner? Who's calming him during night terrors now? Logically, I knew they're my brothers, not my kids. I shouldn't have to be their keeper. But trauma doesn't care about logic. That guilt, it's the price abusive parents make you pay for daring to need something too. Unlearning people-pleasing isn't just about saying no. It's about rewiring a survival instinct. I grew up scanning rooms like a security system, tracking my birth giver's moods, predicting outbursts, soothing my brothers before they could cry. Now, if someone's even slightly upset near me, my body reacts like it's an emergency. Heart racing, hands tense, like if I don't fix it, everything will collapse. That's the legacy of parentification. You're trained to be the family shock absorber. And undoing that, it's not just setting boundaries. It's convincing your nervous system that other people's feelings aren't yours to manage. And trust, let's talk about trust. If the one person who was supposed to love me unconditionally could treat me like an emotional dumpster, then who the hell can I trust? I've spent years second guessing. Do they really care, or am I just useful? Because when your own parents' love came with strings, when affection was just payment for unpaid labor, you learn to question everything. You learn to question every I love you that comes your way. That's the deepest wound, not knowing what love's supposed to feel like when it's not transactional. If you're hearing this and see yourself in my story, I see you. You weren't helpful, you were exploited. And healing starts when we name the theft of our time, our peace, our right to be messy kids. Some people should be parents, and some kids, we weren't just born into families. We were born into systems that needed work, therapists, and punching bags. But here's what they couldn't take: our ability to love anyway, to protect the little ones, to say yes when the world kept saying no. That's not maturity, that's a revolution. As for my birth giver, therapy only works if you show up, and she's always been too busy running from herself to sit in the chair. Damn, guys, that one was rough to record, especially towards the end. This experience is like a lot. It is bringing up a lot of like past shit that I buried for so long. So facing it again for the first time can be like overwhelming. But it's also very healing. And like, I also feel like with every episode, I'm not gonna lie, I feel lighter after each episode, because I feel like years and years of shit that I've been like carrying around is finally out there and I don't have to hold on to it anymore. So this experience is a lot, but I hope you guys are enjoying listening to my stories just as much as I'm enjoying telling them. And if you guys ever want to contribute your own stories or talk about anything, my lines are always open, my DMs are open. But yeah, I really do hope that you guys are enjoying the series so far. If you want to talk about anything I talked about, feel free to hit me up. I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, whenever you're listening to this. And I can't wait till next week when we spill more trauma.